There was one rule: no interaction. In this story, we start with our antagonists. Well, they're not really antagonists throughout the whole story. The true antagonist is invisible to the characters, but they certainly are the ones to put things in motion. We have Krillin, Tien, and Yamcha. Krillin, the most innocent of the bunch, Tien, the one who came up with the plan, and Yamcha, the one who insists on putting the plan in motion. Krillin makes it to Tien's house. He knocks and is let in by Yamcha, who asks and triple checks to make sure that not only did Krillin not tell anyone about this meeting, but that no one followed him. Confused, Krillin relaxes Yamcha's fears and settles down in the kitchen where Tien is seated. Yamcha sort of just hovers around. Finally, Krillin asks Tien and Yamcha what the actual heck is up. Yamcha says excitedly, "Krillin, you know how we can sort of feel the audience that watches us?" Krillin raises an eyebrow and just sort of nods slightly worriedly. See, in this version of the world, shortly after Boo's defeat, the characters have been made aware that they are a story in some other dimension. Dimension hopping being totally possible as little Goku and Dragon Ball travel to Aralei's world through some sort of random rift in the space-time continuum. So, as Yamcha has already made clear and Krillin has confirmed, they can feel their audience. Krillin feels slight jealousy for Goku, as Goku is the most popular character at the time of this story, followed by Vegeta by a significant amount. Krillin has asked Goku what it feels like, and the description he gets is too vague for his liking. He's curious. Beyond curious, in fact. He's a little jealous. Okay, he's a lot jealous. Oh sure, Krillin has his own set of devoted fans. He's not in a bad place in those popularity polls, and he checks the forums religiously to find that, yes, people like him. Hey, no interacting doesn't mean he can't observe from a distance. At any rate, all these details are simplified by saying, yes, Krillin knows that they can feel their fans. Yamcha grins at Krillin, and Tien sits silently still. Krillin still has a look of confusion as he waits for his two friends to explain themselves. Explain the secrecy, explain the question, and explain how those two things come together. Tien eventually caves and explains everything himself. They all are jealous of Goku. They wanted to bring Vegeta into this little meeting of theirs, but decided against it, as Vegeta's pride would most likely get in the way of Tien's plan. There was no way any of them expected Vegeta, of all people, to admit the jealousy of Goku. A plan Krillin was getting nervous about. What are you guys suggesting? It almost sounds like you think we could change that ourselves. There's a shine in Yamcha's eyes as he continues to grin, and Tien keeps his perfect poker face. Okay, Krillin is definitely nervous now. Enough beating around the bush, Yamcha exclaims. Krillin, we can change that. We just have to break that stupid rule to do it. From there, both Tien and Yamcha explain their plan. At first, Krillin declined. You're suggesting something crazy, he tried to reason. What if we end up hurting him? What if all his fans leave him? Yamcha simply rolls his eyes. Please, there's too many of them for that to happen. Krillin still argues, but we don't know what'll happen if feeling the joyful energy were to suddenly stop and the energy were to disappear. Yamcha groans and tries again. Krillin, just think about it. How much damage could a few posts on a little forum cause? Krillin narrows his eyes at his friend. The person he swore was a mutual friend of the man in question, of Goku, though he doesn't say a word. Tien interrupts the stare down between those two with his own opinion. The way I see it, it'll most likely cause about a handful of fans to leave. Out of the multiple thousands who call him their favorite, we'll probably swipe up a little more than 100, if that. Krillin crosses his arms, leans back in his chair, and grumbles quietly. Seems like an awful lot of work for something so unimportant. He complains and complains, but the reality was Krillin desperately wants to give in, wants to follow through with their plan. So, after much more arguing and thinking and one threat of a punch to the stomach if Yamcha didn't shut up, Krillin caves. That little voice in the back of his head was bugging him. Just a few lies, a few exaggerations. Read the manga that the man who is connected to your world shared with his own again, to find any and all flaws in Goku's character and personality. And then, if only for a brief moment, as his remaining fans clean up their mess, you'll feel that powerful energy of a fanbase that loves you most of all. Krillin nods. Where do we start? Tien and Yamcha spent the rest of the night letting Krillin in on what they had concocted so far of this fake Goku, and Krillin helped. Brought up some basic ideas to get them started before they analyzed their own lives more closely to find the perfect evidence of their falsehoods. And then, after weeks of planning, the action began.